Hello everyone, this is Sam with the Gent Mafia, and today we're going to be talking about 3 unique ways to play Skyrim. So you've probably gone through and beaten the game, and you're starting to wonder, what can I do now? What should I do now? Or maybe you're just getting back into Skyrim, and you want to go ahead and play something a little different than the ordinary. So this is a little bit of an alternative way to mods. You can definitely use mods. There's definitely some great ways to kind of redo your game, so that way it's pretty well fresh. Especially someone like me, I've put many hours into Skyrim, so I've done the vanilla thing over and over again. But here are some challenges that I like to do that are definitely, going to help you kind of renew your spark in Skyrim. So we're actually going to start it off with the one that me and my friend came up with. We call this the Hardcore Ironman mode. In this mode, you're only allowed to use weapons, armors, and potions that you create. Anything that you find off of loot, whether it be bandits or treasure chests, this is going to be stuff that you can pick up, but you're only allowed to sell it, disenchant it, what have you, so that way you can go ahead and boost up your things. So you're going to have to find all your ingredients for yourself. This is a little bit difficult in the beginning of the game, just because you are not able to pick up anything. So you are going to be using your fist. It is a little bit difficult, especially considering you have to play on at least adept difficulty. So, and I highly recommend doing adept difficulty in the very beginning. Boost it however you feel fit, but it is very difficult in the beginning. Unless you're a mage, then you can kind of get away with it because you're not really using weapons anyways, and you're basically given fire. If you want to go ahead and make that a little bit more difficult, you can't use fire until you go in and you buy the actual spell itself. If you want to go ahead and do that, that's absolutely recommended. I give you big props on that. So, yeah, you're only allowed to use the potions and ingredients. You have to play on at least adept difficulty. Definitely bump this up after you've gone through and made like your first set of weapons. It just makes it a lot more difficult. You have to strategize a lot more. Makes things a lot more difficult and way more rewarding, especially when you add on that you only get 1 life. Now, when I say you have 1 life, that means that once you die in Skyrim, you are dead. You have to delete the character and move on, make yourself a new one. This just adds on to the whole rewarding thing. Makes you really think about how you want to engage in combat. You can definitely do different kinds of builds that will make it so that way you can kind of keep your character out of combat, whether you want to do conjuration or something like that. It'll definitely reward some play styles, but you can also, if you want to go ahead and be a giant brute and go in dual wielding, you can absolutely do that too. Although I will say you will probably die in the beginning of the game. Until you make your demigod character late game, you probably will have some difficulty early game. But, it's however you want to play it. You can also tack on some things. These ones I don't usually tack on myself just because it makes it so that way it's a little bit more difficult than it has to be. You could also add on no fast traveling, and you can also make it so that way you have to periodically feed yourself. The no fast traveling thing, kind of stipulation that we like to use is we won't fast travel, but we will be allowed to use the little traveling carriages that are outside of every one of the main cities in the Skyrim. I think it's like 20 to 50 gold depending where, and it'll send you to one of the main places, and then you walk from there. So technically it is fast traveling, but it's within kind of the realms of the game. So you can go ahead and do that. And then feeding yourself periodically. The food isn't really useful in Skyrim. It doesn't really give you any buffs or heal you that much. Some of the soups, I think, give you some decent little bonuses, but for the most part, they're not good. So to make food and, beer and mead, whatever you want to call it, if you want to make that more useful, just make it so that way you have to pick it up, so that way you have to periodically feed yourself. This is more so just kind of an honor system. Definitely go ahead and do that. It's going to make your game way more rewarding, way more fun. I promise you guys, this is definitely one of my favorite modes to play. The next one, I'm actually going to give credit to this one from Reddit. This comes from Sickzor from Reddit. This is the Dragonborn challenge. So in the Dragonborn challenge, there is no fast traveling, and you can only use the equipment seen in the trailer. So that is going to be an iron helmet, studded armor, iron gauntlets, iron boots, a steel sword, and a banded iron shield. There is also another trailer where the Dragonborn is dual wielding a steel dagger with a steel sword. So if you want to have a steel dagger on you as well, you can go ahead and do that, or if you want to do one or the other, by all means, go ahead and do that. You're also only allowed to use shouts, spells, and abilities that are needed to complete the game. So Fusro Da when you absolutely need to, the Whirlwind Sprint when you absolutely need to, and the Clear Skies. Things like that. You don't need Yol, with the exception of when you meet Parthenax, I believe. I think that's the only time you need it. So outside of that, you're not allowed to use those. Only what is equipped to the Dragonborn. That is what you're doing. You're role-playing as Dragonborn. Okay? That's what you're doing. So that is the Dragonborn challenge. I've heard a lot of people also mention, real quick to tag on to that, a lot of people say only play on legendary difficulty for that. It all depends. If you're really, really feeling up for it, then yeah, go for it. But it's all up to you. The last one I want to talk about is the ADHD/manslaughter challenge. This was another thing that was submitted on Reddit. I'm actually going to link it in the description box. So there's a ton of other challenges on there, but these are the three that I really wanted to highlight. These are the most unique ones, I think. But I will put it in the description box, the different kinds of things and challenges. It's going to be an entire link to this Reddit page. But this is one that was off the Reddit page, the ADHD manslaughter challenge. So every time you enter a dungeon, it doesn't have to be a dungeon, it could be anywhere, you drop all of your weapons and armor. And then the very first melee weapon that you find, that is your new primary. So as long as you're in that dungeon or walking around in Skyrim, that's your new primary until you enter a new dungeon. Then you have to drop everything, do it over again, and pick up a new primary weapon. So you can walk around outside if you pick up like an iron dagger. Then yeah, you can walk around outside with that iron dagger. And then you also, if you get a kill cam on an enemy, so say you stab somebody and it does like a whole little battle animation thing for you and it just auto kills them, you're able to loot that body and pick up any of the armor, and you can use that for yourself off of that. The final thing to add on to this is that when you go through, you're only able to take out one treasure, excluding the armor and the weapon that you pick up that allows you to kind of walk around outside of Skyrim. You're only able to take one treasure that can be sold, disenchanted, outside of the dungeon. So choose wisely. It's definitely going to be kind of a more strict little way to play the game. And these are some of my favorite ways. There's also going to be a little bonus thing I want to tag on here at the end. There is a website I found called Scenario Generator. This is going to be another thing I'm going to put in the description box below. Basically what it'll do is it'll set up a class and it'll tell you how to role play this character. Very, very cool stuff if you want to go ahead and role play a little bit more, but you're not quite sure what you want to do, or you just want something to decide for you. This is a great way to go ahead and do it, and it's a lot of fun. Very, very cool thing. So I will mention it in the description box below. But these are my three unique ways. You can absolutely go through, kind of pick out some of the things that you thought were cool from some of the challenges and kind of make your own challenge if you want. This is all up to you, just finding a way to really, really appreciate Skyrim again. So I'd like to thank you guys for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know if this was a good video or not. If you haven't, please subscribe. Join the family. I love having new people in my family. I will be back with more videos for you guys. Thank you.